Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, The Lens of Truth, with me, Ivan Florentino, and for today's video, it's all about one of the most iconic Legend of Zelda weapons, the Hookshot. And as I was editing this video, there's been a lot of rumors going on lately of a brand new Legend of Zelda remake. We don't know what it could be. Maybe the Legend of Zelda The Ocarina of Time, or something more in the Link to the Past top-down Zelda game. We don't know yet. But this is the perfect time for me to talk about a weapon in gaming that was almost in Breath of the Wild, and it wasn't added in Tears of the Kingdom. But before we get into all that, if you're new to my channel, please hit that like button, ring the bell, leave a comment, and let's get to it. The Hookshot was first introduced in The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, and it was made memorable in The Legend of Zelda: The Ocarina of Time. And there's been several variations throughout the entire series, but at its core, it's a handheld device that shoots out either a hookshot or some kind of claw that attaches designated target sections, but you can latch yourself on to things like treasure chests, ladders, trees, and usually it ignores things like rocks or any type of stone. And it even became even more intricate when it was introduced as a double claw shot in The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, and then The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Whichever the variation, this is one of those unique weapons in gaming that if you know, you know. This weapon is so fun to use, it's very creative. It's one of those puzzle solving weapons that's fun to use to try and figure out some kind of intricate dungeon puzzle, or see how it affects enemies as well. And just a little fun fact, this was cut and originally was going to be in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The producer of the Zelda series, Eiji Aonuma, was in an interview saying that it was cut during the production and testing of Breath of the Wild, where you were swinging like Spider-Man, in quotes, is what he said. And this is one of those items that I was hoping that they would add to Tears of the Kingdom. And I know a lot of other people during the production of Breath of the Wild and after it released criticized the game for lacking memorable weapons that you would receive in a dungeon. And because Breath of the Wild lacked dungeons, they removed them completely, and in turn we have the breakable weapons system in the game. But I felt that they could have kept the hookshot and it wouldn't have broken the game. It depended on the length of its reach and the type of things that you're able to latch onto. I really felt like it could have been a great complement to the system that we had, but in the end it wasn't added, and hopefully in future Zelda games, if they do want to introduce the hookshot and classic weapons like the boomerang, the slingshot, any type of wands or magic wands as well, they can easily just make sure it doesn't get broken, and also it doesn't break the game as well. And after completing The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, I have over 100 hours in the game. It really would have been a fun complement to the entire gameplay, and I could only imagine as you were gliding down the sky into the surface or in the underground, it would have been really cool to latch onto some type of a tree, an enemy shield, or something like that. It would have added to the game, and it also would have made a lot of us old school Zelda fans happy to bring back some iconic weapons. And I feel like they could have easily scaled back the weapon's length, keep it from breaking the game, and keep it from being unfair and reach areas that otherwise couldn't be reachable, but still would have been a fun combination to experiment against enemies and just the other gameplay mechanics of Tears of the Kingdom. One of my favorite things of seeing the hookshot in different Zelda games was just how it was going to look, what it'll do, and if they were going to bring back any new type of gimmick to it. For example, it was completely redesigned when it was introduced in Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, where it went as a double claw shot. So instead it would grab onto surfaces like a claw instead of a hook. So it didn't pierce anymore, but it acted in the very same way, but just with more options. And another great utility when it was part of Link's arsenal in the Super Smash Bros. Series. He's a fun character to use because he uses the items from the Zelda series, and the hookshot was one of those grab moves. This is just one of the things that Link is known for to have in his arsenal. to pull in enemies closer to you and start pummeling them and create some combos with them and close the gap and distance as you're fighting your opponent. So with this inevitable remake or remaster that they're going for either the current Switch or the next Nintendo hybrid console, what do you think about the Hookshot returning, and if there's going to be a brand new gimmick towards it, or something completely new that we can't even think of? But let me know down in the comment section below which weapon or item you want to come back in the next installment of the Legend of Zelda series. So thank you guys so much for watching, and see you later. Bye.